I know you're tired, tired of trying, tired of swallowing harsh words, tired of smiling when my heart aches, tired of being around that person who you simply can't like. And it's okay for me to say this here. In this safe space between us, you don't need to pretend you love everyone. You don't need to lie that everything is okay when it's not. Because I know it's not about the difficult people you love, that complicated family member you care about deep down. I'm talking about those people who awaken something deeper in you, something more unsettling, something harder to admit even to yourself. Genuine dislike, rejection, a knot in your stomach when you know you're going to see them, that relief when they leave. I know. And it's okay for you to feel that way, because you're human. Maybe it's that coworker who seems to take pleasure in belittling you. Maybe it's that neighbor whose mere voice irritates you. Maybe it's that family member who always finds a way to hurt you. Maybe it's someone who has never done anything too serious to you, but who simply exists in a way that deeply bothers you, and you've already tried. God knows you've already tried. He tried to be polite, he tried to be patient, he tried to smile, he tried to be understanding, he tried to forgive, but the weight remains. The discomfort persists, and along with it comes that silent guilt. I should be better. I should be able to love this person. I should be more spiritual, more evolved, more patient. And this guilt, it gets tiring too, doesn't it? Let me sit here beside you for a moment and tell you something with all my affection. You are not failing. You are not a bad person because you feel what you feel. You are not less spiritual because you cannot love someone who constantly hurts or irritates you. What you feel is real, it's valid, it's human. And God knows this much better than you imagine. Suffering through these difficult relationships is not a sign of spiritual weakness. It's a sign that you are alive, that you are feeling, that you are being tested in what is most difficult for all of us, to love when there is nothing in return. When there is no affinity, when every cell in your body screams, I just want distance. From a spiritual point of view, and I'm going to tell you this with all possible delicacy, no one crosses our path by chance. I know you've heard this 1,000 times. I know it might even sound cliche, but sometimes we need to hear it again, in a different way, when our hearts are more open. That person who bothers you so much, they're in your life because there's something there, something that needs to be seen, something that needs to be worked on, something that, however painful it may be to acknowledge, you still need to learn. And no, this is not punishment. It's not a penalty. It's not because you did something wrong and now you need to pay for it. It's because you're alive. And being alive means being in a constant process of learning. These difficult encounters, these people who seem to have been placed in our path, specifically to unsettle us, invite us to work through deep things within ourselves. Forgiveness, even when the person hasn't apologized or acknowledged their mistake. Compassion, even when you don't understand their behavior. Patience, even when you're at your limit. Persistence, even when it seems like nothing will change. And inner growth, that slow, sometimes painful process of becoming a more mature version of yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you something you might not want to hear, but that could set you free. Often, the dislike you feel for another person reveals something about yourself that hasn't yet been resolved. Calm down, breathe. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying the person isn't really difficult. They probably are. But what bothers you most about the other person usually points to something within yourself that still needs healing. That arrogant person who drives you crazy, maybe they remind you of some arrogance of your own that you don't want to see. Or maybe they remind you of someone from the past who hurt you in that way. That controlling person who suffocates you. Maybe they awaken in you the fear of losing control, or the anger from when you yourself were controlled. That fake person who deeply irritates you. Perhaps they reflect some falseness within you that you work so hard to deny. It's not always like that, but sometimes it is. And recognizing that isn't about blaming yourself, it's about setting yourself free. Life, that immense and sometimes so harsh school of brings us closer to those we reject, precisely so that we may learn to love in a deeper, more mature, more unconditional way. Not romantic love, not the love of friendship, but the love that recognizes in the other a spirit on a journey, just like you. A spirit that also makes mistakes, that also suffers, that is also trying to find its way, even if in a way that you don't approve of. And if you don't learn now, divine law, which is wise and patient, may place you near those same souls again, in other contexts, in other lives, until the learning finally happens. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to help you understand that it might be wiser to address this now than to postpone it indefinitely. But what happens when there's truly no room for dialogue? When the person doesn't want to change, doesn't want to get closer, doesn't want anything more than to continue being exactly as they are. So the work can be done internally, in the silence of your heart. In the sacred space between you and God, you can cultivate compassion, even from a distance, even without speaking to the person. You can pray for her, not a hearty prayer, begging her to change to please you, but a genuine prayer, asking that she find peace, that she find light, that she find her own path. You can send light to her, even from afar. You can imagine that person enveloped in divine light, protected, guided, blessed. You can ask for spiritual protection for her, so that higher spirits may support her, guide her, and help her in what you cannot help with. This isn't about changing the other person. You don't have that power, and you shouldn't. This is about preventing animosity from taking root and growing like a weed inside you. Because when you nurture anger, resentment, hatred, even if justified, you are the one who suffers the most. That person may not even know how much they affect you. They may not even care. They may be living their life without even thinking about you. But you carry this weight. You lose sleep. You keep rehashing conversations. You become emotionally drained, and it's not fair to yourself. Many of these people carry pains that you are unaware of. They have stories you've never heard, traumas that have never healed, limitations you don't see. Maybe they didn't have the loving family you had. Maybe they didn't have access to the faith that sustains you. Maybe they never had someone to teach them how to truly love. This doesn't justify the bad behavior. It doesn't justify the way they treat you. It doesn't mean you have to accept everything in silence, but it can help you look at it with a little more compassion, with a little less judgment, because you had opportunities she may never have had. And if you had her story, you might be in the same place. Vibrating in love, even silently, even from a distance, even without any direct contact, already transforms the spiritual field surrounding that situation. It already protects your heart from being poisoned by resentment. It raises your own vibration. It brings you closer to who you want to be spiritually. You don't need to hug this person. You don't need to be their best friend. You don't need to pretend everything is okay. But you can choose not to fuel hatred. You can choose not to wish harm. You can choose to send light, even from afar. And that is already love. A mature, difficult kind of love that doesn't depend on warm feelings, but on the conscious choice to vibrate with goodness. Take care of your vibrations today. Now, don't put it off until later. Because every day you spend harboring resentment is a day you steal from your own peace. Every negative thought you cultivate is a thought that distances you from the light. Every time you wish ill upon someone, even secretly, even if you think it's justified, you are poisoning yourself. Align yourself now with the highest part of yourself. Work on love today, even if it's difficult, even if it hurts, even if you don't feel like it. Because working on love today is always wiser than postponing that learning process to another life, another context, another even more painful moment. You are not alone in this struggle. God knows how hard it is. God sees your effort, even when you think you're not doing anything special. Every time you choose not to retaliate, every time you take a deep breath instead of exploding, every time you pray instead of cursing, every small gesture of love, however small, is seen and valued. You are evolving, even without realizing it, even when it seems like you are failing. If this message reached you today, perhaps it's because you needed to hear it. It's okay to feel what you feel. It's okay to find it difficult. It's okay not to have been able to love fully yet, but don't give up. Don't harden your heart completely. Don't let bitterness take over. Keep trying, keep sending light, and trust that, in due time, the learning will come, peace will come, and you will look back and realize how much you have grown. If these words brought you any comfort, subscribe to the Messages from the Soul channel and share them with someone who also needs this support. Sometimes a simple gesture of care can change someone's day. Help us with the challenge. When the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, we will start posting daily. Remember, you are not alone. May God bless your life and your journey.